If they would, I would hope, it's been stated, theme packs. Go that route if you're going to go that. That way that you're stuck to servers that have only those weapons and everything on it, and you're not having to balance like 1943 weapons versus modern fucking M16A4s or, and all that other crap. So, you're stuck with an M1 Garand in a world where that M1 Garand belongs. It's not being brought into the modern combat age. If you're gonna go that route and do like past, future, and all this other stuff, Vietnam, do it in theme packs. If you're gonna keep the modern game as it is, whatever. Recycle it for all I care and throw it out, make the graphics a lot better. Do the modern military game that way.
Then in the future you've got 2142. Well, what if the next Battlefield was 2042? Because we've got 1942 and 1943, and you've got 2142. Well, we're really close to 20 in the sort of timeline of the Battlefield games. We're really close to 2042. So if you look at Final Stand, you've got all this sort of technology of 2142, like the beginnings of it. So there's, in terms of the lore, you've got the perfect place to do a 2042. But will we actually see it?
I've been playing Battlefield games for more than a decade, and I've seen pretty much everything that this franchise can offer towards me as a player. Taking part in the community test environment, providing feedback and solutions to the developers, being a moderator for the Reddit portion of the Battlefield community, going to Los Angeles to do some recording, organizing matches back in PS3 era.
Battlefield 1 podcast host Boss Cyanide and the Lanky Soldier will be hosting a
PS3 exclusive Dice Dog Tag Hunt!
All freaking dead.
Oh wait. That's what PS3 looked like?
Ah, crap!
Whatever it may be, I experienced all the drama that happened with the Battlefield games and the community. And this project, from what we heard so far, is a solution to the problem that has been plagued the Battlefield community for a whole decade. So let me explain why you should be excited.
And of course, all 7 of the new epic scale maps already announced for 2042, they're also playable in Portal.
I love it.
Before Battlefield 3 came out back in 2011, all the Battlefield games before that belonged in the so-called refactor engine era, which basically means those games were running on a refactor engine before they switched to Frostbite. Yes, Bad Company series was already running on Frostbite, but those games weren't the main titles. There were spin-offs that were already basically focused on consoles, even if Bad Company 2 was on PC. Not the point. Before 2011, the main Battlefield games had a specific type of gameplay that is considered pretty niche these days. They weren't exactly mill sims, but they were still arcade multiplayer games. If these games came out today, they would be absolutely be placed in the mill sim category, just because the mechanics would be considered a bit hardcore compared to the other Battlefield games that came out recently.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's the one mechanic I actually agreed from Hardline that was kind of nifty was they didn't give you ammo. You could just walk up and take it. But again, that kind of discouraged having team play and the need for, the support person or the medic person to throw the med bag or the ammo bag out in the first damn place. They can just run around and do whatever willy-nilly, and if people need ammo, hey, just run up to me real quick, even if I just happen to be in the middle of a gunfight.
And the reason for that is because these games will not be enjoyable without teamwork or friends. Keep in mind, there was no self-healing before Battlefield 3, and that was already controversial back in the day. Because hell no I'm trusting my Battlefield life to a random blueberry that is just joined server whose name is XX Shrek on DVD XX. I'm not joking, that was a legit game attack I've encountered. It's good name. So before Battlefield 3, Battlefield on PC was a hardcore experience that required teamwork to be enjoyable, while on console, Bad Company games were a bit more arcadey and just tried to be authentic instead of realistic. I'm not advocating which one is better, I'm just stating history facts. So when Battlefield 3 came out, believe it or not, it was controversial as fuck. The Battlefield community said this game was made for casuals, fuck Battlelog, fuck self-healing, fuck blue tint, fuck there's no commander, fuck premium. Okay, I kinda agree on that. For a good majority of them, this was their first ever Battlefield game and they kept playing and playing. It was their Battlefield. Including mine. I played Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 2142, but I never really enjoyed them that much, honestly. They were really boring to me and sometimes too complicated. Yes, when you're 12 years old, yeah, they were complicated to me, and I have no shame in admitting that. Battlefield 3 was more accessible to new players. It was inviting a new audience to experience what Battlefield is all about. It became the best-selling Battlefield to date. until Battlefield 1 took that crown 5 years later. And again, I'm not saying which type of gameplay is best, I'm just stating history facts. So since Battlefield 3, I learned how much Battlefield community loves to gatekeep their games. The amount of comments I've seen that go like this: I don't want Call of Duty players coming to Battlefield. The old campers only care about teamwork. Teamwork is the best, cause we're the best buddies and best friends. I don't want casuals to have self-healing. Player control ammo and health is the best because it encourages teamwork. Sure, my dude, I love it when a player named Trek on DVD doesn't throw a health pack at me and I fucking die, because all he wants to do is some challenges to unlock a dog tag or a weapon and just quit the server mid-game.
If they don't give that medkit, then the whole team gets punished and other people get punished apart from them. If you make it like this automatic system, then people learn that being with your team is a good thing. You get extra benefits and you don't have to rely on that person to be listening to you, and you don't have to ask him for an item. It just automatically appears around him. It's like that sort of thing makes team play happen in a natural sense. Sure, you can argue that, oh, it's not skill based and therefore it's bad. I don't think that makes sense, because from what we've seen in Battlefield, you get times when you need ammo, you go to a medkit, you ask him for ammo, he never gives it you, and you get frustrated. It's really frustrating, and it appears time and time again on the forums, people saying, that moment when you go to that ammo guy and he does not give you ammo.
Every time we play together, you always hear me on the mic, this son of a bitch doesn't give ammo.
Yeah.
So for the last decade, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, and Battlefield 1, and most notably Battlefield fucking 5, the franchise had an identity crisis, mainly because developers wanted to accommodate all the type of players to their games. Battlefield 3 was hated because it was too casual, then Battlefield 3 players hated Battlefield 4 because it was less casual or the maps were bad. Whatever the reasons, there were loads of reasons. Then hardcore Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 players hated Battlefield 1 because it was an entirely different game and it spawned a new breed of Battlefield community that cared about historical accuracy. Really? Why do you fucking care? Then Battlefield 5 was hated by everyone because it was a complete shit show from a development and gameplay point of view. I can't be asked to mention all the problems for that game, so it deserves a different videos. I mean, maybe I'll just make a list or something. Yeah, I don't really care. Battlefield Hardline? Let's just pretend it never happened. So every single Battlefield game that came out since 2011 that was so different from each other, they don't carry the franchise identity. They carry their own identity. And that's a complete polar opposite to Call of Duty, because we've been getting a Call of Duty game every year for more than a decade, and they gradually were improving on each other, you know, with each game. Until Modern Warfare 2019 came out and said, nah fam, we want to do better, enjoy. And Modern Warfare 2018 became the best-selling COD of all time.
Still standing.
You ready for a gunfight?
Let's get evil.
Can you hear that? Can't record because there's fucking construction shit happening in the background. And every time a new Battlefield game came out, it was different. Mechanics are different, shooting is different, area is different. Even if the new game branched off from the previous game and have the same foundation, it's still different enough to basically be a different game. It's different.
Well, every time a Battlefield game comes out, it sort of changes the formula of Battlefield a little bit. Every time a new game comes out, we get new players. People go around on the forums like talking about what Battlefield is about, like the quintessential idea of Battlefield and how that's different from other games. I kind of feel like at the moment, I'm a person who played Battlefield 2, and I feel like I'm in the minority. Like, there's people going around on the forums talking about what Battlefield's about, and they haven't even played a Battlefield game before the Frostbite engine was on Battlefield. And that's really weird to me, because the experience you got from a Battlefield game when it was back on the Refractor engine, when you compare those experiences to what you get on Frostbite, which is Bad Company 1, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and Hardline now, but I don't count Hardline, but whatever. It's a very different experience, and like some of the ways, like you can look at it and materially there's lots of things that are there, and you know, the ingredients are there but not necessarily combined in the right way, and it just, things don't work right, and it's like, on paper you can look at it and say, well, we've got the tanks, we've got jets, and we've got we've got all the things we need, and so it's Battlefield, right? But you know, when you ask the veterans, they don't feel like they get the true Battlefield experience that the older games offer.
So how do you expect DICE or any other studio under EA umbrella to accommodate all these different type of players into one game? It's bloody impossible. You have no idea how many times I heard people arguing that Battlefield has to go back to the refractor engine area mechanics, or how many times I experienced what kind of brain dead teammates I can get in a server. It's just, there's no correct answer, because there's no physical solution to bring all these players back into one game and make everyone happy. Until now. So DICE said, fuck it. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Go make your own Battlefield. Kinda. Battlefield Portal is an idea that was thrown around by different community members for many years now, including us.
Maybe it's not going to have a setting. Maybe it's going to be a game that is just Battlefield, and then like you get different theaters of war, and like, or not necessarily theaters, but like eras. So like,
I swear to God, Squirrel, that
you have
is
an
exactly what I
expansion
said
pack.
like 50 times before, like this, forever. Like,
yeah, and then you have like,
Yeah.
and then like you get the World War
yeah,
I
the World War II
expansion.
pack, and then you get the and then you get the Vietnam pack, and then you get the Desert Storm, and maybe like some Cold War missions. So you do like 1980s era, and then later on down the line, I don't know, you go into like 2000s warfare, and then a message shows up on my phone.
Holy crap!
And then
I've just realized.
What?
I just realized.
What?
If they were planning to do that, the name would be perfect. One Battlefield for all the theaters.
Well, it's
Oh,
just-
crap!
Battlefield to rule it all.
Exactly!
After Battlefield Portal was announced, we learned that this idea was being considered by DICE back when Battlefield 3 was still in development. 10 years ago, my dudes, and Battlefield Portal finally exists because we reached that level of technology where it's actually possible to do this kind of thing. So every time you want to call developer lazy, please don't. Stop. Please be reasonable, respectful, okay? Shut the fuck up. Okay, so we have the technology. Wink wink. And we have a good idea. What exactly is Battlefield Portal, and how does it fix our Battlefield identity crisis? How does this thing accommodate all different type of players into one game and make everyone happy? In the most basic English, Ripple Effect Studios basically are remaking 3 Battlefield games that have different eras and they're more than a decade old, yeah, all of them are more than a decade old, and adding them back to 2042. So maps, vehicles, gadgets, factions, guns from all 3 different games are part of 2042, full package. And that means we have extremely content heavy game made from 4 different Battlefield games, and you can play all of it for a small loan of $1 million. I mean, you can buy the game for 60 to 100 bucks depending on what version you want to buy.
So what you just saw was the Battlefield Portal. It's a new community-driven experience that gives players the freedom to write their own rules and shape their own battlefield. You can mix and match content from Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, BF3, and Battlefield 2042 to create brand new game modes.
You can mix factions, weapons, game mode rotations, map rotations, anything that a server rental program did before in previous games, you can do it in Battlefield 2042, and it works together with the vanilla 7 large maps that were announced for the game. And that's all crossplay too, meaning PC, Xbox and PlayStation players can finally play together. And that is a big question mark for me when the game was announced, and I'm just glad it's actually a thing. There's some tiny differences between rental server program and Battlefield Portal, but the purpose is still pretty much the same, which is basically running your own servers. On top of that, we are being given tools to create, host and edit our own individual servers.
Portal is a chance for the community to drive the platform. There's a whole slate of customization options and even an advanced logic editor for you to play around with. Tools that were previously only available to us on the development team.
And apparently those tools are pretty advanced, and pretty advanced enough that we can almost make anything. Well, I say almost. But let me quickly mention the negatives or important facts to consider. When I say they are remaking all 3 Battlefield games, they are remaking 2 maps from each game, so that's 6 maps in total. And each map won't represent each game individually as they were before. Meaning, you can't have Battlefield 3 UI or HUD on Battlefield 3 maps, or gunplay from Bad Company 2 or anything like that. The foundation is still Battlefield 2042. You have to treat all of this as content for Battlefield 2042, not as individual remakes for these games. So gunplay, mechanics, animations, menus, everything that makes a game a game. All that content is part of the singular game that is called Battlefield 2042. The tools that we've been given by DICE to run and create our own unique servers are good enough, but they have a limit. Like, we can't create new objectives or move existing ones around. We can't physically move objects around the map or anything more advanced like that, or terrain editor, you know, pick anything that you like. You can't make a brand new game from it, you know. There's a limit, either because it's too difficult to implement that into the tools for public consumption, or end of the day, EA and DICE still wants to be in control of their product, and they still want to dictate how the players experience Battlefield and how Battlefield's supposed to be. You can't make your own Battle Royale, mainly because they're already low-key making one, which is Hazard Zone. They say it's not Battle Royale, but they say it's their take on the Battle Royale, so which one is it, you know? I mean, come on. Anyway, don't care, Battle Royales and belong in another game. I don't really care if Battlefield has it, because Battlefield doesn't need it, honestly. Battlefield doesn't need the Battle Royale. Also, we have no idea if we can change the tick rate of the servers. Let's say 5-on-5 with 120 Hz. Probably not, just because we never had that option in previous games with community games and so on, so I don't think it's gonna be a thing either. Okay, so now you're familiar with Battlefield Portal. You know what it does and how it works. And how does it fix our Battlefield identity crisis?
There's a split between the veterans from the old days and all the old Battlefield games. They joined in all sorts of different environments where Battlefield meant a different thing to them, and I think we can't move on together. I think the community is like tearing itself apart.
So the problem always was, Battlefield community never agreed on what kind of mechanics make a Battlefield game. Well, Battlefield. Is Battlefield a hardcore teamwork-oriented shooter like Battlefield 2 or 2142? Or is it arcade sensation that is close to Call of Duty that is Battlefield 3? Or everything has to be physical like Battlefield 5? Well, on paper, it doesn't really matter anymore, because every Battlefield audience can make their own perfect Battlefield.
We want this experience to go where you want to take it. We see the sandbox as a big part of the future of Battlefield 2042. I really hope players will embrace Portal. That's who we built it for.
You want a historically accurate World War II shooter that is not Battlefield 5? Sure. You want to replicate the Refractor engine gameplay and pretend it's the true sequel to Battlefield 2? Go have fun. You want a good old Battlefield 2 Rush game mode being good again? It's all there. You want an infantry-focused Call of Duty game like gameplay? You have it. Maybe you want a vehicle-only modes? More power to you. Maybe you just want more maps in Battlefield 3? You have 11 of them. Or maybe you just want some really ridiculous game mode that makes no sense. Yeah, go do it. Heck, we can finally start having proper Battlefield comparative tournaments. Fuck yes. And I can keep going and going, but you get the point. Doesn't matter what Battlefield was your favorite, it matters that you can actually bring that Battlefield of yours back to life and share with other people that have the same ideas as you, and in the process create something new that will invite new players to explore new things. If they never played a Battlefield game and are too intimidated, hopefully Battlefield Portal will help them ease their entry to the franchise and actually have fun, regardless what mode they pick to play. If a player is satisfied with a particular game, like particular server they're playing, they will be encouraged to explore other game modes as well. And that's a huge win for everyone. Developers, players, it's an absolute bloody win.
That's my big complaint, is that not having server stuff, community tools. Servers are community tools, and if they're not robust, that's antithetical to community right there and then. It means you don't care about individual groups that are playing together, not whether they're 10 buddies or 400 AOD Battlefield members. You don't care. I mean, what you're telling me is that you don't care about the communities as long as the greater community of official servers are full, which is that's so anti what they've been spilling, for the last 6 months to a year.
Battlefield community has been begging for years for something that can provide a platform for communities to grow and thrive. We had that in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, but I do agree the classic server rental program had a lot of problems that needs to be fixed, because it was really meta. It wasn't, mainstream, if that makes any sense. Sadly, instead of improving it, DICE straight up removed it for Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 5 was just a complete disaster. We're not even gonna talk about that. And the beauty about Battlefield Portal is that Ripple Effect Studios can continue adding more Battlefield games to the mix. Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 2142, even Battlefield Hardline. I personally don't have a favorite Battlefield title, but if I'm allowed to take best bits from each Battlefield game and make something that I really want, something that I can call my own personal Battlefield, then I'm fully sold on the idea and I want all of it. And because the Battlefield portal exists, the gatekeeping by the certain members of the Battlefield community will hopefully stop, because they already have what they want. Don't get me wrong, I still expect some douchebags judging other people's creations, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because everyone's is a winner here. Everyone can do whatever they fucking want. And hopefully, we can finally push the community forward and start having important conversations. Not about if something is historically accurate or why Call of Duty players should be allowed to enjoy Battlefield as any other Battlefield veteran out there. It's time to grow up. Enough. So whoever was the pushing force to make this happen, I salute you. I salute every development team responsible for this amazing project. And I hope it will bring equal happiness to you as a developer as it will bring to us players. If you're still watching this video, you're amazing, and thank you for your time, and I just want to say a couple of things before I'm done. I knew I'll be playing Battlefield 2042 on day one. That was a given, because Battlefield always been my, game. But unfortunately, Battlefield always been surrounded by drama, questionable development decisions, and the last 3 games never gave me a lot of confidence in the future. A lot of broken promises, misjudgment, and a lack of proper leadership. Battlefield as a franchise was heading into something dark and bleak, and it seemed that the next game would be the last chance of saving this franchise. So I was refusing to be excited for Battlefield 2042. Even if I always wanted to play in this era, a prequel to Battlefield 2142, that is a nice middle between modern and futuristic, I was not allowing myself to be excited. I got burned so many times before, and I don't want to experience that ever again. I'm still questioning certain aspects of the game as I learn more information about, especially about the vehicle mechanics, because I'm always a vehicle guy, I always main tanks in every Battlefield game. But inclusion of Battlefield Portal gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, the Battlefield franchise is going in the right direction, and it gives me optimism that I haven't felt since Battlefield 4 community test environment. And that's a good thing. And my gut is usually right when it comes to that kind of stuff. Just a humble brag. So a message to DICE and every other development team that is working on this game. Good luck and Godspeed, and I hope you're gonna be proud of what you have achieved. Fingers crossed. It's fun to read the names. Oh, talk Mireille. Okay. Big Mac. Henry the
It was Elon Musk in general.